Welcome back to Beach Theory, everybody.
That's right.
This is your handsome host, Michael Beach.
And Rebecca Beach.
My beautiful spouse. I wouldn't be here without you, babe.
I wouldn't be here either.
You're so cute. And to everyone watching on YouTube, you can see our beautiful faces. But if you can't see our face, that's okay. You can hear our soothing voices. So, we got a fun episode today.
Last episode, we talked about Corbin and the horrible experience we had with his birth in Florida.
But his birth, like the actual birth,
it was good.
Great.
But the pregnancy,
such an
and
easy birth, good baby.
Yeah, good baby. It wasn't his fault at all.
Yeah,
it was the doctors and the nurses.
And today we're going to talk about something that I know is sure to make Rebecca very excited.
I don't even think I asked you what we were talking about next.
Surprise!
Ooh.
So I was working at the temple. We talked about this a few episodes ago, full time.
Yes, the Orlando, Florida temple.
And now I don't remember much. It seemed like kind of a blur.
Temple for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, by the way.
Yeah. So Corbin was born, and then several months later, it was springtime.
Yes.
And you approached me.
It was about 2 months after you got a job.
No.
Yeah.
Was it in February?
Did you get your job in February?
You're putting out numbers, but you have no idea. I'm pretty sure I got the job like in October or November. Because I'd been working there for a while before Corbin was born.
Oh, yes. Okay. So I think it was about 2 months before Corbin was born is what I'm saying.
That I got the job.
Yes.
That sounds right.
Yes.
So October. Uh-huh. And then you had him in December. And then it was sometime, wasn't it in March or April that you got a phone call from Jennifer?
Okay. So it was in March.
Okay.
March. Probably about halfway through March. I had enough. I had a newborn baby.
What more do you want from me? I went and got a job.
You got a job.
You wanted.
And this is how we work in our marriage.
I know.
I
bend over backwards and then it becomes not good enough.
Shh, quiet. No, we have, just like we said a few podcasts ago, I had a list of all the things that bothered me the most, that were the biggest issue. And the biggest issue when I was pregnant with Corbin was that Michael was doing a sales job. So I sent him a letter, an ultimatum, and he got a job.
Right.
That was the best thing. That was a great turning point for us.
It was very good.
Then I had another thing on the list after that, and this was
get out of this house.
We had to get out of that house. We had now 2 kids instead of just one. We were living in one room.
Yep.
With all of us.
Sharing a kitchen with the rest of my family.
Sharing a kitchen with the rest of his family.
It was uncomfortable.
They were uncomfortable. We were uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable for everyone.
Right.
And I could tell they were unhappy with us, and I was unhappy with them parenting my kid, or giving me parenting advice, or just I didn't have the space I needed / wanted. And freedom. I felt like I was a child in his parents' house, but I also had the responsibility of an adult and to take care of my own kids. It was hard. It was so hard.
Right. And I could see that you were kind of starting to shut down again.
And what do you mean by shut down? Explain that, because you mentioned that in another episode.
So Rebecca, if you know anything about Rebecca, she's always very happy. She's always joking around and making pranks and teasing and just like everything is good, And when you stop doing those things, like you're not joking around, you're not teasing, you're very sober and serious. That's what I mean when I say shutting down, because you're just not being yourself anymore.
No. And I was not being myself. My mom had come to Florida, and that really helped me. So that was in December, and I think she left. She was there for Christmas, but she left shortly after Christmas sometime. So the new year, it was March by this time. So I think January, February, March, 3 months later.
When I got the job at the temple, did my mom ask us for more rent money because I was working and making more money? I don't remember.
All I know is that she was upset because you were no longer working for her, and she felt entitled to that because of the low rent.
Right.
So she kind of was like, "Well, I'm giving you a deal, $50 a month, so you have to work for me." Right. So then,
I did work for her. I did a lot of projects for her around the house.
We just never had enough money, even with. It just felt like we were indentured servants, I guess, in my mind.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. And no way to get ahead. We just could not get ahead unless he got his real job. And then he finally got his real job. And
so you approached me and you asked me a question.
I said, Michael, we've been here for 18 months now. Was it 18 months?
It was. It was December to December, baby. So it was a year and a few months.
I said, we have another baby, and I am not happy here. I know we're encroaching on their space too much.
Yeah.
And
right about the same time, my brother Matthew and his wife Margaret had actually moved in. So they actually converted the garage.
They saw the need for it.
We were in the bedroom off the garage, but the garage itself was still a garage. But my parents actually converted the garage into
another bedroom
/ kitchenette.
Yeah.
Right. And so my brother and his wife had just had their baby right at the same time as Corbin.
Yeah, same
Only theirs
baby.
was born very premature.
Time. Yes.
Do you know it was like a month or two premature?
And he had some issues with his intestines, and they had a really hard time.
But they had moved into the garage.
I think they couldn't afford a apartment anymore either. So it was like, not only was it having us be there
with our two babies,
the pressure of 2 kids and
but then they moved into the next room. And they were living there. And so
your family was like, okay, let's finish this kitchen. We got to finish it so that we can have our own kitchen back, because now it's getting more crowded.
Right. And so now say again what you asked me. Let's get out of here, right?
I said, I have basically had enough. I'm not happy.
Right.
I literally bought a punching bag because I couldn't communicate to your family the same way that I communicated to my family. So you got
out all your frustrations.
So I bought a punching bag so that I could punch it whenever I was so mad that I couldn't communicate the way I wanted to.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, I was pregnant for some of that. I had a brand new baby for some of that.
Did you have a punching bag before you gave birth to Corbin?
If I didn't, I wish I had. Let's just say
soon
that.
After, probably. Okay.
So I was like, Michael, I've had enough. I can't do this. Mm-hmm. Can we please move? Keep in mind, I have asked him this so many times. It is not the first time I've asked him. But it wasn't in the
cards. And this is where I would say, hey, look, what do we do? You know, but we were making a little bit more.
You would never say, oh, you know, you never had this reaction, which you had this time, which was, hey, if you can find a job and a house all at the same time, then I'll move back to Utah. Yeah. He never said that. He was always like, no, it's too hard. I have a good job. Or no, I just want to keep trying with the bees. Or no, I haven't given, my mom is planning on building this thing in the backyard. She really needs our help. Like, there were always reasons.
And I could tell that my boss at the temple, who was also my bishop in our ward for the church, I could tell that he was kind of grooming me to be a long-term employee there.
Oh, you could have been there for a long time.
He was taking me to classes to get education on different things.
Yeah.
He was training me on a lot of things that the other employee there, who was just a temp, wasn't getting the same training.
So he really liked you.
I could tell he really liked me. And he wanted me to stick around for a long time.
Yep.
And so, I was expecting to be there also for a long time. And if it meant that we bought an apartment or bought a house or something, that would be down the road.
But keep in mind, that wouldn't have been in the cards for a long time because it was a new job, and banks don't loan on a new job.
Right. So when you approached
especially if you've had a bad history with jobs,
right?
Or inconsistent.
Definitely did.
Yeah.
So you said, "Hey, I want to change something," and I said, "If you can find," you said, "I want to go back to Utah." Is that what you said?
I want to move back to Utah. I want to be with my family.
And I said, "I don't want to live in the trailer in the parking lot anymore, in the garage, the driveway." So I said, "If you can get us a job and a house, if you can find something, then I'll do it." And
I was like, oh. And he had never reacted that way. He was always saying, no, that's not what we're going to do. I'm not okay with that. We have to stay. Let's stick it out. We have a lot of reasons to. We're saving money. And at that point, we were just barely starting to get not even ahead, but catch up from his job. Debts. So moving on at that point was it was the first time we ever were being consistent and having a good income. And it was why move on right now? This is the best time. We're in a good place.
Well, I think that's
our plan that we got here with is finally working, basically.
Right. I think that's why I said find another job, because at this point I'd been convinced that having a steady job was necessary.
Yes.
I think I remember actually considering like transferring to another temple job in
totally,
in
and that would have been really cool, actually, I think.
Because I was like already in the network or whatever.
So what happened at that point was, that day, I asked him like in the middle of the day when he got home from work one day, and I was like, hey, is there any way we can move back to each other? He's like, yeah, job and house. And then I was like, okay. And I had such a relief. I was so happy that I didn't even, like, I just wanted to relish in the relief knowing that it was possible.
It was an option.
I didn't even, like, I was just so relieved. I didn't even focus on, okay, I'm going to go look at jobs right now or anything like that.
You didn't look at any jobs or houses. You were just kind of like,
I was just like,
it's nice to know.
I can be happy here for a few days before I even move on and start looking for jobs.
Right.
So I decided I wasn't going to look for jobs. I was just going to relax that day, the very next day. And my sister called and she's like,
the unthinkable happens.
Yeah, the miracle happens. She calls and she's like, I'm looking for jobs right now. And there's just this one that popped up and it made me think of you. It's this live-in storage unit job where you get paid, but you also have a house. And I was like, no way.
This was the next day.
Oh my goodness. I didn't ask for that.
Right. What was crazy is we'd been in Florida for a year and a half and she never called us about anything before.
Like, I mean, maybe I visited her, but not about a job, not about anything like that. Nobody was ever trying to get us to come back.
She's like, I don't even know if you're interested, but
they wanted us back, but they didn't. They respected our ideas.
Right?
Yeah.
So.
Oh my goodness! Even to this day, I'm like, that was Heavenly Father.
Yep.
That was His hand saying,
Absolutely.
yes, this is the right step to take. Yes, good job for finally thinking up this
Utah.
idea. Get back to Utah. Here is your escape route. You know,
right. Like, so when she told me about this and I came home from work, I was just like,
no way.
Wow.
What?
Like, we have to.
Let's look into it.
I guess I have to. I mean, I told you I would if we could get a house and a job.
And I'm like, next day, without even trying, here's a house and a job.
So I was like, wow, this is meant to be.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything so clear.
Fall into place
that it was like, this is meant to be. And if there's no way that's just a coincidence.
How can you explain that?
Right.
You can't. Too many things had to fall into place.
To say it's a coincidence is to deny just how divine that became. That was so meant to be.
Yes.
From Heavenly Father. So, and that's how we recognize it. And so at that point I said,
and we prayed about it and we felt so good about it.
Let's try for it. So we did a Skype interview.
Yeah. Which was funny because the interviewer, our boss later, he's like, Skype? I've never done Skype. Okay. So we were like kind of teaching him how to do Skype because we had learned how to do Skype when I wanted to Skype with my family while they were in Utah and I was in Florida. So that was kind of funny. We like taught the boss how to Skype.
We turned on Skype and he asked us all these questions and we got to see him face to face. And it was probably 15, 20 minute conversation.
And he's like, well.
And by the end of the conversation, he said, all right, I want to go ahead and offer you guys the position.
Yeah.
If you guys
be here and
get out here by April 15th or something.
It was like 2 or 3 weeks was all. So it was like, it ended up being that we were like, yes, we're taking the job. It feels so good. We'll have our own place.
Yeah.
Our own place, even though it was also our office.
Right.
But it was our own.
Yeah.
And we didn't own it.
So we were like, great, hey, we got the job. So I went back to my boss at the temple.
Gave 2 weeks notice.
And I just said, hey, here's the situation. Like I explained the whole thing. I said, look, she asked me this question. I told her, yes, if you can get a house and a job. The next day, this opportunity presented itself. And to my bishop and my boss, he's my spiritual leader. I figure if anybody, he'll understand.
Yeah.
Like this is obviously heaven sent.
Yes.
I can't be mad because, we're following our prompting, right?
Yeah.
So I think he was only upset to the extent that he was sad to lose me.
Yes.
But he recognized that everything that I said was right for us.
Yes.
And he supported us 100%. He was very cordial and kind and supportive.
Yeah.
But I could tell that he was sad that I was leaving.
Yep.
Because I think he really liked having me around.
He did. You guys,
and I was sad to go too.
Yeah. You were sad to leave that job. It was a good job. It was the first job that really, really was like, this is consistent. This could be something real.
Yeah.
And then we left. Yeah. And our my dad and your dad.
Yep.
your dad, your real dad.
Yeah, my biological father
He
and
came,
your dad
and my
drove
dad
a truck with a trailer.
drove from Mount Pleasant, Utah, all the way down to Florida.
Yeah,
picked us up, brought a trailer and helped us put all of our stuff in it. I think they were there for a few days or a
They
week.
did stick around for a couple days.
Like, maybe it was a week, something
No,
like that.
it was only like 2 or 3 days.
Okay.
Just enough to go to the beach, I think. And
yeah, explore a little bit and then be done.
Just kind of hang out. Take a break from the trip.
Yes.
Because that's a long drive.
That was a long drive, especially for my dad. He has back problems. So that was like...
We loaded up the trailer and we just made the trek back. Yes. I remember at this point...
And I just would like to say that we left the place better than when we found it.
Oh, absolutely.
We left it decorated and clean and beautiful. And that has always been my attitude whenever we leave someplace that we've rented or that...
Leave it better than you found it.
Yeah, absolutely. Leave it better than you found it. You don't need to destroy it. If you didn't have a good experience there, that doesn't matter.
Right.
Show respect.
We did.
You know?
And it was better. Good. I remember we had when I totaled the Corolla when I was selling Cutco, I took a loan from my parents and I had since paid it back, but we bought another Toyota, but it was a Celica.
Toyota Celica, two-door with
two-door sports
kids
car
in the back.
2-door 4-seat sports car.
Not practical at all.
And I put on the top of the Celica, I put the roof box with all of our things.
That's right.
And we had you and me and James and Corbin in the back. Yeah. And we drove the whole way.
Did we have a roof box? I don't think we did.
I remember because I remember thinking, this is a lot of weight. And I'm afraid.
This tiny car.
Right. Well, here's the weirdest part. So the Celica was a stick shift. You taught me how to drive.
I taught him how to drive a stick shift. I learned how to drive on a stick shift myself.
But you taught me, and I got really good at it.
Prideful moment.
It's all right. You earned it. And I remember it was a good car. It drove perfectly fine for months.
Yes.
But I remember the minute that we strapped the roof box on that thing and filled it up, it started having problems.
Yeah.
The car started having...
We got to Utah safely, though.
It became really gutless, and it didn't have a lot of power.
Yeah.
And nobody could figure out why.
Yeah.
And even after we made it back to Utah, it continued to have problems.
Yeah.
And so I sold it.
And we got a minivan.
Yeah.
Which was a very good decision.
That was after we
had
made it
no
back
heat
to Utah.
in it, but hey, it was a minivan.
I just remember driving back to Utah, and we'd drive overnight. We took turns driving, sleeping in a rest stop, just trying to get back as fast as we could.
We got back really quickly. It was hard on the kids. It was hard on us. But you know what? 3 days, and we were back.
It was nice to be back.
Oh, and we had a house.
And a job.
All
it was incredible.
One.
It was like a dream come true.
We were like, holy cow, 3 weeks ago, there was no hope of leaving leaving Florida.
Right.
And we were going to be there for years. And it was endless.
Right.
And then it was like 3 weeks from that point? Maybe it was even 2 weeks. Yeah. No, probably 3 weeks from the time we got the call from Jennifer. Yeah. So we ended up with a new house, new van, new setup.
The van came later.
Yeah, that did come a little bit later, but close to it.
So we moved into the storage units and we started managing them, and it was great. I was
still nursing Corbin.
You were still nursing. He was only a few months old, but you were able to manage it on your own. And I actually turned around and got another job.
So we were like living large.
Well, because you were making $400.
It was great. $400 a month. And then I didn't have to pay any rent.
Right. Or utilities.
And they gave us a cell phone.
So we didn't have to pay for a cell phone anymore.
So we had a cell phone taken care of, rent taken care of, utilities, and we were making $400 a month. And his job.
And I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go get another job. I don't think I ever gave it a second thought to go get another job.
Well, obviously, because I was like, I can handle this.
Right.
Like, this is just... all I had to do was sit in the office.
I just remember thinking, like, we could have lived off that $400, but I just never even considered it. I just went and got a job. Until later.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that. Yeah. But I went and got a job at Die Cuts with a View.
Yes.
And I was working at a warehouse.
Yes.
And that was actually really cool because...
He liked his job, and I liked mine, and we were making money, and we were finally supporting ourselves and not mooching off of anyone. But unless you could consider that job kind of mooching. A mooching. It was a step up from mooching. I was earning it, but I didn't have to pay rent.
Doesn't matter. You earned it.
It was a good step up.
You worked hard. You had to evict a lot of people and grow back down when people were like,
oh my goodness.
Don't auction all my stuff, but I'm not going to pay you.
Too bad. pay for your stuff or I'm going to auction it off. And so I did. And
because you had to, that was your job.
And there were lots of messes, and like that storage unit was just a wreck when we got there. And a
lot of delinquencies and
a lot of people that were like mystery storage units. They were like, whose in here whose stuff is this and why are they not paying? So I was just like, okay, we have a storage unit auction coming up.
Yeah, we cleaned that place up good.
We made it like spick and span, work in order. Like we
raised the rent. Occupancy was nearly 100%.
Nobody had lived there. Actually, when we got that job, they brought in a modular home for us. So nobody had lived at that storage unit before we did. So what had been happening, it didn't have a gate either. People were just driving in and they saw an open storage unit and they would put their stuff in it and not pay and not tell who's there. Like once I could tell that some of the people, when I got there and we started living on property and we started cleaning out all the storage units, some of the mystery units would just be gone. Like I could tell they were like, "Oh man,
get out of here quick!
We can't do this for free anymore. We better get out of here." That's just so dishonest. I can't believe it.
Yeah, it's crazy that it even happened. But you did a good job with that.
Yeah.
And the
I even was like detective status. There was one that nobody was paying on, and I was like, "This is just so weird." It's like this guy went off the face of the earth. Nobody can get a hold of him. We tried contacting. We tried all of the things.
Right.
All of the normal ways of being like, hey, come pay.
Right.
Leaving messages, whatever. And I was like, okay, the guy before me couldn't even get a hold of him. So I'm like getting on the internet, doing my research.
Veronica
and
Mars.
I find, seriously, I was Veronica Mars status. I get on the internet and I do research and I find his name in like a newspaper saying he had gone to jail. And I was like, yes, time to put it up for auction. So I called my boss and I'm like, so
figured it out.
I figured it out. This guy has been in prison and that's why he's not responding and that's why he's not paying. And he's like, okay, put it up for auction. And I'm like, okay, hopefully he doesn't come back and kill me.
You don't make an enemy.
Oh man. Good times.
You did a good job with that.
That was a very, even though it was like, okay, now we have to put a lot of work into this. Okay, now we're not mooching. Okay, like.
So, but let me illustrate the living situation. We were in a 1-bedroom
studio,
little
basically.
Tiny trailer. It was what, 600 square feet?
It was technically 2 bedrooms.
How many square foot was it?
I think 600.
600 square. Yeah, technically it was, but one of them was the office.
So we couldn't put anything of ours in there. It was for the storage unit.
So we had a bedroom on the far end, and that was James and Corbin's bedroom. Mm-hmm. And then we had a laundry room outside of that and a bathroom. Mm-hmm. And then we had a kitchen, dining room, living room. And we slept on the futon and lived on that futon for a couple years.
No.
Yeah.
A couple years?
Yeah.
2012 to 2014.
Yeah.
But in that time, they got us a new a new house.
Okay.
Yes. So
at least a year and a half.
Yeah.
We lived on that futon.
Yep.
And that's where
we slept. And you know what? Living in the living room on a futon was much better than having all 4 of us in one room with no kitchen, no bathroom.
It was an upgrade.
Living in somebody else's house. Like it was, or in the forest, in the wilderness, in a tent with a 4-month-old. So we were living large and so happy.
And we were making good money because I was also working full time, making I think $12 an hour.
Yep.
The place I was working, I actually got hired on right away.
Yep.
And I got an immediate promotion. I don't know why I got the promotion. If they saw something in me, if I was like really savvy.
He cared. And the people that were working there were kind of young adults and they were the kind of stage where we were just recently, right before that, where we were like, we don't really care.
They were a lot of them were singles. Maybe it was because I was married and they figured I'd be around for a while.
You'd be a little bit more responsible and you were. So
I got an immediate
maybe
promotion.
You were just really good at it. Like, don't sell yourself short, you know?
I got the immediate promotion and I became basically the auditor of the entire warehouse.
Yep.
Where I would go through all of the inventory of the entire warehouse every day and make sure all the numbers matched up, all the products were on the right shelves. And I got to play detective a lot too.
Yep.
Because we would have products go missing and they're like, okay, this inventory should be this number and it is not.
Be gone.
And so I'd have to do all this computer tracking. It was actually really cool because literally I'd come into work with no agenda for the day, no plan.
These problems handed to
and
you.
I would have dozens of problems and I would just work and work and work. And I was so
busy. That was
busy.
one of those jobs. They should have hired 2 other people to do that job.
Oh, I could have easily had an assistant helping me.
And you always came home like, oh, I hate this because it's a never-ending job.
Never done.
I never feel satisfied. I never feel like, oh, I did a good job.
I could never come home and say, I'm done. I did everything.
He was always like, I tried to get this all done and I still had this huge stack of papers to do and all
But
this
at the same time, it was kind of fun because I literally there was never an end. So it was like my days went pretty quick because I was nonstop playing detective, working, finding. Yeah. And it was kind of fun, challenging projects.
It was
everything was a puzzle there.
Oh, man, that was just a good time. Like it was.
Yeah.
It switched from being very hard, from being very, I don't know, a hard life to being like, nope, this is good. We're all on the same page. We're all working as hard as we can. We're all even. That's for sure something that switched to. We were all even.
We were even, weren't we?
Yes.
It was good.
And
except
really,
even looking back, I feel a little bit bad because I know that the storage unit job stressed you out.
Oh, it made me stop being able to breastfeed.
To the point that, you stopped producing milk.
Because how I would live is during the day, I would be in the store, in our house. But there was a doorbell that would ring anytime anybody came in our office. That was the one room off of the tiny house that we had. So we would be in there and I would be like in the middle of changing a poopy diaper or breastfeeding. And all I could think about is I have to do this as fast as possible because if I don't, somebody's going to ring the doorbell.
You could literally never get comfortable.
No.
Because any minute someone would be there at the house needing help. And
it was just so hard. So because of that, stress built up in me and I was unable to produce milk anymore.
You stopped at almost 6 months. You barely made it, I think, 6 months.
I don't even know if I made it that far, maybe. Yeah. He was the shortest amount of time I've ever nursed any of our kids. And you know what makes me feel bad? He also has the most problems, like lung problems.
Health
problems.
Even though he's a perfectly healthy, happy,
he just has asthma kid, and sometimes he's allergic to a lot of things.
Even though
he had bronchiolitis twice when he was a kid.
Really small.
Like when he was a baby, like toddler age. So anyways, that was kind of disappointing. But it was at that time, it was like, no, he's going to get the food he needs. One way or another, it will be okay. And we have to keep this job. Like it was everything to us at that time.
Yep.
It was a big change for us. It was
so
good.
When you stopped producing milk, you started feeding him goat milk. I remember that.
Yeah.
That's what my mom did when one of my siblings.
That's why we did it, because he's like, my mom said we should do goat milk and you should blend or juice carrots and celery.
And goat milk. But I think we did formula too, didn't we? Or did we just do goat milk?
Just goat milk with Corbin the whole time.
And he turned out okay.
Yeah.
He's a sharp, smart kid.
That was another one of those fights we had when we were growing up as parents and a family. The fights that we would have often were Michael was very adamant that I should breastfeed. And if I couldn't or if I didn't want to, he's like, absolutely not. That's not an option.
Well, I think because I know how healthy it is and how good it is for a baby to have that. Mm-hmm. And I think that, to be really honest, there's a part of me that's like, well, if I was the mom, no matter how much I didn't want to, I would do it. And I can't.
These are the kind of conversations we have. If I was in your shoes, this is how I would do it. So you better do it that way. Because I would if I could, but I can't. That's the kind of conversations we have.
Agreed, right? I mean, there was.
Well, I did agree.
You did it.
But there was these considerations that weren't an option for you that were for me. Like stress. Like the stress of knowing that you weren't okay if I couldn't do it made me feel like even more pressure. And there was one other thing, and this has hit every single one of our kids when we get to this stage. It's always stressful, and that is when I'm breastfeeding and the baby isn't getting enough, they start fussing for
more.
But they start doing that for like a month. And I'm in that time, just the transition period of me trying to say, hey, it's time. They need more food. They're not getting enough. Yeah. You don't believe me because you're still working. You're busy. You're doing other things. And so you're like, no, it's not as bad as you think. You just need to keep trying. So I would, with all of the kids, have kept trying for longer than I should have.
Every mom that listens to this is gonna hate me.
No, it's
I'm a terrible husband.
It's no, because what you were doing it in the idea that I know what's right for our kid, and you better do it that way. Like, because I don't want you to hurt them.
Right.
And I'm thinking, it's not going to hurt them because they're already hurting. They just they're not getting the food they need. And he's like, well, try all the things. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, they're crying, it's because they're hungry, keep trying. It was like, oh, they're crying, it's probably not because they're hungry. They're probably getting enough. You probably need to burp them more, or maybe they have colic, or all these other things. He's like, go through all those things. And I'm like, trust me, I know. I have this feeling he's not getting enough. He's not full. But we just disagreed with that. And we've done that on every kid. So let's make it a goal. With this baby, when they get to that point, just let me.
Well, I'll just be extra careful not to have that stress. This is the first time we'll have a kid where I'm home and you're home, and we have that freedom because we've never had that before.
But I think I've also gotten to the point with all the kids that we've had so far that I'm like, no, when it gets to that point, I make that decision. It's okay because I'm the one feeding them, and I have had enough experience that I know.
It's been a long time since we've had a baby.
I know it's
gonna really be hard.
Well, do you agree?
I guess we'll see when we get there.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I think that covers it.
Yep.
This was a fun podcast. Moving back to Utah. We're back home near the family again.
Finally back.
Your dream.
My family.
That's good.
We also learned through all of that Michael wants to be around his family, but he doesn't need it.
But you need it.
But I need it and I want it. So we've both kind of made the compromise and knowing what both of us can handle and what both of us can't. So
I love you.
And I love you.
And I want you to be happy.
And I want you to be happy too. And we still go visit his family, by the way. And we're on good terms with them.
Yeah.
I hope we're still on good terms with them after they hear this podcast.
After all the podcasts. Well, you know what? If we're not, that's not our fault. We just told things as it was. Yeah. It's not sugar-coated or exaggerated. Yeah. It is what it is.
And they weren't bad.
No.
It was just hard to live in the same house. That's all.
That's just how life is, though. Yep. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube to Beach Theory, or you can follow us on Apple Podcasts. We're also on Spotify and Anchor, and any other place that you might find a podcast. We're there.
If you have a topic that you want us to talk about, leave it in the comments below, or on Anchor, you can also leave a voice message, right?
I think so, yeah.
And then we can bring that into this podcast.
So we're compiling.
And talk about.
We're taking all of your subjects. All of your questions and comments and things that you want us to talk about. We're making a list for season 2. Once we cover all this stuff that we're wanting to talk about, we're gonna have a whole nother series.
Backstory since being married.
Yep, we're gonna do a lot of Q&A, and it's gonna be a lot more interactive. Yes. So keep them coming.
This season 1 is going to be our history, and then season 2 is going to be more topics that you guys want us to talk about and interaction between you guys.
Questions and answers and interviews with other podcasters.
So it's gonna be really fun.
Or YouTubers. Yeah, it's going to be great. Thanks for tuning in. We love you guys.
All right.
Until next week, we'll see ya.
Bye.
Bye.